posted December 1, 2017 145,050 Luttralam Bashiramd, Alam for short, notes that Darwin is different to Myanmar, different from mountain to river. He and his brother fled here from their small Rohingya community several years ago but had to leave a family facing state persecution behind. Alam said the life he left was hard. It's still hard now. I work for 5 days and go to class on 2. But 3 days a week. Alam manages to set aside time for a bridging factor between his two vastly different homes, football. A close-knit team of Rohingya come together on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays to train in what Alam said was the stateless people's favorite sport. We have a small community. There's not enough players. We need 12 players but we have 7, he said. They've borrowed surplus players from other teams and will tomorrow represent Rohingya against 15 other teams in the 2017 Darwin Refugee World Cup. Football a constant for refugee communities sits 33 degrees when a group of refugees, migrants and Darwinites with diverse backgrounds gather for a final training session before Saturday's tournament. We are training every Thursday here so we're getting used to the weather, Juan Carlos Marquez from the Footballers Without Borders team said. Many of the players hail from nations with decorated football histories, but the training session is tough. They practice sprints, shooting drills and defense before splitting into red and blue teams for a sweaty practice match. Patrick Sim, who helps organize the cup as well as playing with Footballers Without Borders, said the importance of football to many refugee communities was part of why the event was held each year. There's so many different communities around Darwin that play soccer together, he said. So it's really great to have a more structured event so that everybody comes together and people form more relationships as the teams meet more and it's great for community. Many of them will represent their countries of birth tomorrow, some of them coming from as far afield as Congo and Nepal. For the first time this year's competition will also include 4 women's teams. Darwin Better Than Down South migrants Ganesh Gurung will represent the Nepalese Hearts, who are reportedly one of the teams to keep an eye on. He said Darwin's Nepalese community had swelled in recent years and that it might lead his team, last year's runners-up, to victory. When we started there were only 11 players, but now we are nearly 25 to 30 players last year, he said. This sporting community has eased the culture shock of relocating to Australia and is part of why he vastly prefers Darwin to South Australia, where he spent about 5 years. I was really missing my home when I came to Australia, he said. That's why I found sport is a really good link to engage in other people, other cultures, to know other culture as well, to know other people. It's a small place, people are really friendly, and you know each other quickly rather than in a big city when you're like miles away. The sacred football match has helped him build networks and feel at home in Darwin, until Saturday, when the cherished sport will get competitive. Topics: refugees, human interest, sport, Darwin 0800.